is saying that apparently Stella's iPhone died. So anyway, apparently Tasha's going to be chatting the whole time. Here in the top right-hand corner of the map, we have our purple Protoss player from Slayers trying to stretch their lead out. It is Brown. His opponent down in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. Winner of the last game and trying to tie things up for Team Liquid, our Blue Zerg player, Zenio.
Okay, I'd like to have just a moment of silence for Stella's iPhone, which recently died.
Sad.
Okay, thank you for respecting the celebrated life of Stella's iPhone. You know, he can be replaced but never forgotten.
That's right.
Either way, Brown, probably a little bit sad that he does not get to pick Brown as a color in StarCraft 2. I know we've talked about this before, but, you know, there's just no brown option. There's purple. And he has to stick with it because that's the closest he can get, apparently.
Unfortunately, that's Zenio's color usually as well. So I'm sure they had
sniped.
some sort of a tug of war. They probably actually had a best of 7 before this just to see who would have the color for the actual game.
So you're saying Brown defeated Zenio in a best of 7
there
to
you
get
go.
purple? Wow.
Yes, to take the color purple.
He probably has pretty good odds then.
Yeah. Was it
in this
because
best of 1?
Was it because he came into the lobby first? No, they actually had a best of 7. Of course, the map is Cloud Kingdom. As we mentioned before, we said during the break that, or not during the break, I guess, in between games, that because of the way the Zerg's third base is positioned, you can attack it from a lot of different angles. So 2-base timings are still very, very strong here. But, you know, once you get into that ultra late game, this can produce some pretty big stalemates over the middle of the map.
Yeah, even the third base for Protoss can be tough to defend against Zerg, though. So if it's not a 2-base timing, then it can actually be pretty difficult to keep that third base under control. Roaches and Lings, obviously, early aggression from a Zerg player can make it pretty hard to hang on to that. So Brown most likely going to be walling from this position, obviously, that he's foraging quickly at. Sometimes you'll see Terran players or Protoss players actually try to wall off that fat ramp instead. But obviously there are some problems involved with that as well, with the destructible rocks being able to be focused down. So either way, Brown is going to play a little bit safer and just try to wall off his own, his natural, and not really anything else here.
And this could be a full wall here in a second, depending on where Brown puts this, because it's just the space of a gateway that's left over. He did have the potential to try and block this, but no, Zenio did actually get that down pretty quickly, and the probe decided to duck away off to the right, maybe hiding itself for a little bit later. And it looks like he did, never mind, he did leave a gap there in between the structures.
All right, so the probe, for the time being, can just hold position and, you know, stay alive long enough for the cannon to work on any Lings that show up. Obviously, once the gateway finishes, he can plug that gap with a Zealot. Actually, if these Lings run in right now, they'd still both be taken out, so he would need more than that. It only takes 2 shots from a cannon to kill unupgraded Lings, so he's feeling pretty fine with just leaving that as it is and letting that Nexus get complete.
And it looks like that worker off to the right did end up getting picked off by one of these Zerglings, I would imagine. Not sure which one it is, though. Or probably tried to duck back in. Yeah, there it is. That is our killer Zergling there.
He's a
one
predator.
that's actually done anything.
He's the Predator.
That's right.
So, wow.
They're all Predators.
So Brown needs some aliens. I guess Protoss.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do they start as? Disciples.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So they're disciples, but every Zerg unit starts as a Predator. That seems overpowered to me.
No, I mean, well, Predators can go invisible. They do have, you know, a wide array of weapons, you know, but they need aliens to hunt, and I guess these probes are the disciples of some alien race, so they can hunt them. Makes sense.
Possibly.
It works out.
Possibly.
There's not a lot of trees to hide in, though. I feel like Predator really does well with trees around.
That's true.
Yeah, that camo really helps out. Yep.
God, anything that Alien and Predator have been involved in the last 10 years have just been a disaster. I'm going to throw that out there.
Prometheus was Prometheus. I think Josh really liked Prometheus. Did you really like Prometheus?
Yeah, I really enjoyed awesome. Our technical director loved it, as we do actually have a Stargate opening here coming out for Brown at the moment.
Stargate was good.
Stargate, yes. The first, like, 75 minutes of Prometheus were really good. Anyway.
I don't know. I feel like if I could just delete certain scenes from Prometheus, it would be fine. But
yeah, I agree with you.
Because
at the end, I was just like, oh, Alien prequel.
Either way.
Yep, so Zenio ducks in here. He wants to see how much gas there is. He actually doesn't make his way over to this one. He does have his Overlord in position to try and sacrifice and move in and pick up on some tech. But already the Stalker's pushing this back, so Brown is going to be able to pull this off without any knowledge. And as he's going for that Phoenix first, he's probably going to try and hide 2 or 3 of them and then duck out across the map.
Yep, we'll see how quickly he wants to get working on these overlords. Obviously, the earlier he reveals them, the earlier Zenio can start to deal with it. He did not see the Stargate at all.
No, but and he was actually, the Overlord was killed as well, which means that it's likely, very unlikely for this to go spotted in any way, shape, or form.
That's true. Well, I mean, he didn't even get all the way toward the ramp, so he couldn't even see if, you know, it had been a robotics facility or something else instead. He only got kind of halfway through the base before getting warded off, so that's pretty bad for Zenio. Already losing a couple of links here to the Stalker as well. The Overlord looks like it wants to try and make a push back into the natural of Brown, but, you know, we'll see if he actually gets taken out. Yeah, he is actually going to get tickled to death by the sentry, if nothing else. But if the Phoenix does get revealed, it probably won't. I think Brown is a little bit smarter than that. Yeah, he's going to hang on to all three of these, possibly even wait for that fourth before heading out.
And nice job there. Kills it and is going to be able to pick up on anything. In fact, did Zenio even see the edge of the gateways? No, they were just out of his range. Are you kidding me? Robotics facility coming up following this now, and this could actually turn into a big push afterwards. But for now, the Phoenixes have free reign to run down and do damage. There are no spore crawlers anywhere.
Yep, Zenio did actually finish his evolution chamber just now, though. You can see that +1 armor working away. So he does have the ability to make spore crawlers. He just doesn't know that he needs to right this second. So he's actually probably going to pick up both of these queens at once. There go the spore crawlers as soon as they come into vision. There he does pick up both queens at once just so he doesn't take any unnecessary damage. Oh no, he needs to lift that queen again though. Just a tiny bit more DPS would have gotten it. One more lift on that queen would kill it off as well. He needs to pay a little bit more attention. Not sure what he's turned his focus to, but he could have killed all of these queens before those spore crawlers finish.
That was a little surprising. Okay, a little bit careless there by Brown. I mean, he still does some damage. He does pick off one of the queens, but certainly could have done a lot more.
Yeah, and this is the kind of thing I was envisioning when saying it's a little bit tough for Protoss on Cloud Kingdom, because this third base is just really hard to get up when the Zerg have multiple inlets into your base. But force fielding surrounding all of these sentries, taking out the probe there. Those Lings actually got quite a bit of damage done. These Phoenixes now picking up an Overseer, though, and they can actually still have a little bit of room to work inside the main of Zenio.
And they did force 6 spore crawlers out of Zenio, I believe. 5 of them. 5 in total. So that's even there. A lot of economic damage done. That essentially is 5 workers down the drain plus minerals on top of that. So I'm not saying that Brown has justified the cost quite yet, but he's getting awfully close. Yep.
There's a robotics bay coming up now for Brown, so these Phoenixes and the single Void Ray are just acting as distractions for long enough for Brown, to get the composition that he really wants. He's got +2 weapons on the way, extended thermal lances on the way, and basically these air units are just going to be used to buy time while he gets these tier 3 Colossi up and running.
All right, and additional spore crawlers are coming up as well. I guess just 1 for now, but it's still essentially another worker gone. And the Void Ray here plus the Zealots aren't going to be enough to start driving these forces back. Nice job to pick up the Roaches in the air as well, immobilize them for a while, and allow the Zealot and Void Rays to kind of do their work.
Yeah, Void Ray is going to actually just get that laser beam charged up on these Roaches here, and Space Shark should feel a little bit worried, but of course he is invulnerable, so
yes.
Brown will not be able to destroy him with the charged up Void Ray. So
nothing can.
You know, that's good for him. He just surveys his land and makes sure that no one fights. Wait, no, he doesn't. He doesn't do that at all.
That's right. He encourages fighting. What are you talking about?
He revels in the glory of battle.
Yes.
Either way, Phoenix is moving around again toward the main of Zenio. He does have 2 spore crawlers in that main mineral line, though, so he should be pretty well defended. First Colossus is up and running. Doesn't have extended thermal lances just yet, but by the time he gets anywhere important, it will be done.
Yes, it will. And the Phoenixes are in position and ready to duck in at a moment's notice, start picking off some units. And indeed, they are going to. Good job there to pick off at least a few units and then get out of town. So 3 more drones falling, and these Phoenixes are keeping Zenio effectively pinned in. But he did manage to go up to a 4th base.
Yep, 4th base has a spore crawler prepared as well, but I think the Phoenixes could actually get into that mineral line without getting hit by the spore crawler. It seemed a little bit far off the actual base. Either way, is that a hive coming up already for Zenio?
Yes, it
He's
is.
actually just going to skip most of that lair tech. Yeah, that Spore Crawler's not in a great position. These Phoenixes still able to pick up and shoot down those drones pretty quickly. Still only 6 workers killed for Brown, though.
Still pretty good, but again, 6 workers killed and the Spore Crawlers were forced out. But as we can see, 75 workers to 75, now 82, as both players have very equivalent economies at the moment. Brown could start thinking about a, well, I don't know if he's going to go later in tech here or maybe a 4th base in the near future. He is planning on a 2nd robotic facility to double produce Colossi, and looks like he is going to go down that 4th base route.
All right, for the moment, Brown is actually pushing out a slight amount. He's just going to drop pylons along the way, possibly try to expand there. Not 100% sure yet, but Void Ray still just hanging out by that Zelnaga tower. There's not really any anti-air out for Zenio. 10 Spine Crawlers, though, being placed for Zenio all around his various bases, and he is actually going to test the front now of Brown. So Brown is going to have to warp in some more Tier 1 units to take care of this, but Zenio just backs off instead.
Yeah, Brown with a full wall there is not going to feel too worried about anything that comes up the front, unless it's a big concerted Bingling bus or something like that. It would be forced to react to, but that would be too many resources for Zenio to try and commit to this. So Brown knows that his focus needs to be on taking this 4th base and getting over here. Not quite sure what that blink was all about, but it was successful. It did happen.
Making sure it works.
Yep.
You know, sometimes you blink and then they never appear on the other side. So I wanted to make sure these stalkers were not defective, and we're working as advertised from the, you know, the. Not Templar Archive.
Executor?
No.
Oh.
The Twilight Council.
Yes.
Twilight Council said, hey, give us money and we'll make your stalkers blink. And sometimes you're like, all right, I'll do that. And then your stalkers just blink away and they're gone forever. So you don't want that to happen.
Out of here.
Yeah. Sometimes they just get lost.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh, well, he blinks up and sees the Spine Crawler wall is in position with the 5th on the way. Ooh. Nice pickup of a full energy Infestor, though, and it evaporates. Still quite the Spine Crawler wall set up for Zenio with a lot of Infestors in tow, but he's trying to delay for Greater Spire, and Greater Spire's just about to come up. Bunglers do hit a lot of units at the back, but the Corruptor count is just not around. There's 6 of them in the air, but they're nowhere to be found, and Brown is just crashing through the front.
Yeah, look at this. Already up 40 supply. No ground forces fighting here for Zenio at all, and more Warpins are coming. There's 6 Broodlords in production, 78 Zerglings in production right now, but nothing actually on the field to contest against Brown and his huge force of Stalkers and Colossi. He's even got that Void Ray still doing some work from the sky. He actually has a chance to try and take out those Broodlords. Obviously wants to stay back away from the Spore Crawlers until that's killed off, but look at that. The Stalkers just blink underneath the Broodlords, and this already looks to be a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, that Colossus has 34 kills. They continue to just ratchet up as well. The Broodlords getting picked off before they're able to do any damage. Still 2 Broodlords at the back, but the Colossi are just too strong. They have over 130 kills between them at the moment, and everything is just looking terrible for Zenio. EGG Slayers goes up 3-1. Brown is already playing very successfully.
That resources lost tab told the tale right at the end. Only 44 units lost for Brown, and it was something like a third and a half of a third and a half, like a third plus a little bit more lost of what Zenio had actually lost up to that point. And you know, even the Infestors, you saw a couple of Fungals landing, but even the Infestors got picked up by the Phoenixes. Those Phoenixes were all-stars. I mean, they only killed a couple of workers, but they forced so many different actions out of Zenio that he probably did not want to have to commit to. So that's I do like Phoenix openers in PvZ just because they usually do force that chain. Zenio skipped the Hydralisk portion of the chain for the most part, tried to get straight into Corruptor Broodlord. I was just a little bit too slow to deal with the Death Ball that had already come out for Brown.
Okay, well, we're going to move into game number 5 here in a second. It looks like the next player wresting back control of the purple color for Team Liquid is going to be Chef, another Zerg player. He is going to choose Metropolis. We're going to run to a commercial break. While you're away, we are giving away an awesome TT Esports mouse and mouse pad. So head over to tinyurl.com/IPL TT Esports 3, and you can go ahead and enter into that. We do really appreciate TT Esports involvement, not just in our league, but also in esports in general, sponsoring teams, sponsoring players, and really making the game very accessible for the general public. So thanks very much, TT Esports, for getting involved. Again, that contest is at tinyurl.com/IPL TT Esports 3.